Hi everyone. Today is the 22nd of June. This is going to be the first of at least two different sections of another What's Cheering Me Up Right Now video, and it will include my second, or technically my third Plushie Dreadfuls unboxing. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm really happy about building my cute little warren of rabbits. They're just such absolutely powerful aids for people going through mental health, physical health, emotions, and related conditions like that. Now, these are going to be the PTSD rabbit and the newly released gray witch rabbit. I had forgotten I had actually signed up to be alerted when it came out on the market, so I got a 15% off discount code, and that was just really cool. I just couldn't resist when I saw the design. I love witchy things, just like magic with the CK, and just really cool, fun stuff like that. And I absolutely had to get the PTSD rabbit as well. Obviously, I would never pretend I have nearly as severe PTSD as people for example, Shoah survivors or people who've, God forbid, been raped or their house was robbed or whatever. But what I went through being bullied in junior high school, that left a lot of trauma on me. It really changed my brain for many reasons. Just going past that school, all those years later, driving or walking past it, I would have body memories, physically react to it, and my handwriting got squeezed really close together because of what happened. So basically, this is just going to be a really powerful bunny for me. Oh, I'm sorry, the first one isn't the PTSD rabbit that came out of the box. It's the gray witch rabbit, and they all come with cute little fun tote bags. Who could resist this? I love the color black, and I was going through a bunch of different names I was thinking about for the bunny. I just kept coming back to Ceridwen. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's one of the Welsh goddesses. She's one of the most powerful deities in Celtic mythology. She's she was also a witch and a sorceress, so she wasn't just a goddess, and she's the mother of poetry. Many Welsh poets evoke her, and she was on the cover of the, I believe it was, I'm not sure of the details. I know I should have looked this up, the first modern Welsh anthology of poetry, because she's the, and she's also the, not only, I'm sorry I'm rambling, this is totally unscripted, the muse of poetry. She's also represents rebirth and just so many wonderful, powerful things. Oh, this is so cool. Ceridwen. I love Welsh names as well. Even before I discovered I have some Welsh ancestry a couple of centuries back, which I think is totally awesome. That made me so happy and proud. I loved Welsh names for so many years, and I just the little mask and the symbol, it's indicating her eyes are open, so she's enlightened. I love wisdom and enlightenment. As I mentioned in the previous What's Cheering Me Up Now video, one of the reasons I started stretching my ears at the age of 41 about a year and a half ago already, can't believe it's been that long, is because, I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast, because stretched ears represent wisdom and enlightenment in many cultures that practice it. And so when your eyes are open like this and the symbol representing it, you're just open to receiving wisdom and enlightenment from the universe. And so that's really cool. And they said oh, it was really cool when they announced the release. It was fluffle, because a fluffy little bunny, and they said that she's a little bit more druidic than the white witch rabbit, which unfortunately is out of stock. I do hope she comes back so I can get her too. And look at this gorgeous, beautiful little star cape. I couldn't resist when I saw that as well. And I do love the color green, although it's not one of my top favorites. My top signature colors are purple, dark and medium blue, teal, and turquoise. I do jewel shades of green, but I just, for whatever reason, I don't have too many of them in my wardrobe. But I really do like the color green, believe it or not. Oh, she's so soft. I love how soft these little plushies are, and all the the symbols, the goddess symbols. I just, oh, she's so absolutely soft. It would have been cool if she'd had a little witch's hat instead of the little horns, but I think this is such a cool, fun little plushie. Maybe I can sew her a little hat at some point in future. I also do enjoy sewing, and I think she'll be a wonderful muse for me when I'm writing, putting her behind me or holding her in my lap, because again, Ceridwen is the muse of Welsh poetry, and she represents rebirth and all sorts of wonderful, really cool things. So sometimes it's just you need a little good luck charm, and this is the PTSD bunny. I agree with people who's just on looking at the site thinks, oh, it looks like BDSM bunny because of the masks and the chains. But when you really think about it, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast again, look at people doing the crowd design. It's a very powerful symbolism, because the masks are represent, oh, they didn't come on the bunnies, oh, and they're made of, I don't know, not plastic, vinyl or rubber, something like that, because you're masking many times when you have trauma. So sometimes you'll be putting on the happy face to the world, and sometimes it's the, you know, the sad, angry face, which is very similar to their rage rabbit. His head pops off, and underneath the rage is like a very sad, wounded, bandaged head. So sometimes these extreme emotions, they're just covers for the sad, wounded person you really are inside, and the, like, you know, blank hole where the trauma is, and you're chained to a younger version of yourself, and underneath the mask the bunny is crying. So, you know, you just want to like hug it. Oh, she's so soft. I decided to name her after the Greek goddess of memory, obviously because of my memories of trauma, Mnemosyne. I believe that's the correct pronunciation, but I personally, of course, am partial to the Russian pronunciation, Mnemosyne. I just feel like it's makes more sense to me for the stress to fall on that syllable. So Mnemosyne, Mnemosyne. Oh, she smells a little bit strange, but obviously traveling in that bag all the way overseas from China, hopefully the scent will lift after a while. And so, oh, it's just so sweet. Like, just a bunny is crying, and I read a really good review on one of the bunnies saying, you know, like when you realize these things you are suffering from, they're in like these small, sweet, cute forms, and you're realizing, oh, this, like my own depression or anxiety or PTSD or whatever, it's really not as big and scary as I thought it was. And when I'm, you know, feeling like, oh, the bunny representing my condition needs like extra love and cuddles because like she or he is like, you know, looks so sad and depressed and anxious or whatever. So you're saying like, maybe I deserve more, you know, love. I'm not such an unlovable person as well. And you're holding space for that like portion of yourself that's, you know, wounded and broken inside. So they're just really, really powerful. And I will be doing some more unboxings of the other ones. I'm currently on the way. They're like maybe like I say a day or two away, and also some really, I hopefully will be having some jewelry to show you guys, because tomorrow, the 23rd of June, believe it or not, it will already be the 20th birthday of my first nostril piercing on the left nostril. I love, that's one of my absolute favorite piercings, and I would love to get some, you know, fancy, like more of a statement piece to mark it some special birthday. And of course, since my right nostril is now pierced as well, I got it pierced in December 2022. Of course, like they have to get the same on both sides, and I would also love a chain connecting them. That's really, really trendy right now. So I will see you guys again at some point in future to review some more segments for this on what's cheering me up right now. I'm sorry, it's still the 22nd of June. I forgot to show you guys the other side of the PTSD bunny tote bag. These bags are so well made, and I'm looking forward to going shopping with all of the tote bags I currently have. You know, I love reusable shopping bags and just going to the pool and stuff like that. Well, I mean, obviously maybe this one might like freak people out a little bit, but like most of the others aren't so in your face like that. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to just building my cute little warren. I have non-rabbit related stuff coming up in the rest of this. It's June the 26th, and I'm unboxing my next shipment, which just arrived, of the Plushie Dreadfuls. These are going to be Taurus and Scorpio, and I now have 4 more on the way in the mail, believe it or not, because, you know, Pisces came back in stock, and I had signed up to be notified when that happened, so I got the 15% discount code, which of course is awesome, and to get free shipping, because, you know, of course, saving money is very important. I added Migraine Rabbit to the shipment, and then PCOS Rabbit was just released, and I added something else to that order, Cerberus Bunny, the 3-headed bunny. So that's going to be really fun and awesome. And again, I'm really particularly looking forward to when Endometriosis Rabbit releases, hopefully within the next 2 months. You know, I just absolutely love stuffed animals so much. They're doing absolute wonders for my mental health. And of course, as I mentioned, these are some of their zodiac fluffs. I've been really passionately interested in astrology since I was 13 years old. Believe it or not, it's way more in depth than that stupid generic like sun sign crap in the women's fashion magazines and the newspaper columns. You know, many people who bash astrology, they don't realize it's about way more than just the sun sign. It's, you know, your whole chart and the houses and degrees and like who's ruling and who's in ascendancy and who's in descendancy. And some astrologers even include minor planets. As you'll see, I got the Taurus fluff for a large part because I do have some Taurus in my chart. It's the minor planet Chiron, who was discovered in 1977, mostly sidereal, I believe that's the pronunciation. Astrologers include Chiron in the zodiac in your personal horoscope house, because let's just see which one is coming up first, and then I'll tell you about Chiron, who's something that's black. I'm trying not to show the address label on the thing. I changed to filming to my usual here because it's just too much of a hassle to, you know, set up and tear down when I'm on the floor. So this is something that's black, and it looks like it is Taurus. Oh, I'm so happy about to get this cute little bull there. And that one reason I did want to get Taurus, like, instead of waiting a little while like I'd been planning to, is because they said once the one with the green ears sells out, they're going to move to one with cream ears. And they did post a picture on Twitter, and of course it looks beautiful. All their stuff looks beautiful, even if I, realize maybe this isn't particularly my own style, or I'm not the market for this, because, for example, I don't have that particular like illness or mental condition, or I'm just like not interested in that, like, non like mental health or non-physical health. They do have like some plushies that are not related at all to physical and mental stuff or emotions, or, and of course obviously because I'm straight, I'm not really exactly the market for any of the plushies in their Pride line. But to make a long story short, they do have some that are just general interest. And so basically, like, I didn't want it to get sold out, because this is one of those companies, sometimes if you see something you like, it might not be there. They might just do a totally other version. Oh, can you hear the bell ringing? Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I love the green ears. And so anyway, because Chiron, which the minor planet found in 1977, was named after, I think its full name is Chiron 2060. I'm pretty sure that's the full name. But anyway, because Chiron the centaur was wounded during this big fight. Hercules started shooting all these centaurs. Most of the centaurs, except Chiron and Pholos, they were like, when bad guys isn't really the term, bad creatures, because they were half man, half horse, and they were centaurines, I think is the word, which is a female centaur, and a Pisces is also based on some kind of an aquatic centaur. That's really, really cool. But anyway, because Chiron and Pholos were the only two good centaurs in Greek mythology, or at least like the major centaurs that we know about, there was a huge brawl that broke out. I believe there were two like separate battles, and like they all got wounded, and many of them got killed, and a lot of them fled as well. And because Chiron was wounded and sadly later died of his wounds, the presence of the minor planet Chiron, if in your chart, if you're going by sidereal astrology, it indicates where you've been wounded. And that's particularly like profound and deep to me, because wounds aren't just like physical wounds, obviously my car accident and other physical stuff, and like my surgeries and stuff over the years, but also your deep emotional wounds and things like that. And so anyway, I decided to name him Pete, even before I got him after Pete Townsend of The Who. He's been my favorite member of The Who since 1994, all the way back when I was 14 and having chicken pox. I just really, really deeply like relate to him. He always felt like a kindred spirit, maybe not necessarily the easiest person to get along with, because he does have a big, well, in the past at least, I believe it's obviously calmed down with age, a big temper, very stubborn, bull-headed and stuff like that. But I absolutely really, really admire him, and just like relate to so much of his things he's written about in his songs and his interviews and stuff. He's kind of like John Lennon was, like straight shooting from the hip. What you see is what you get, like brutal honesty, doesn't care whom he might offend. Sometimes puts his foot in his mouth and might later say, oh, I like said that wrong, or I was way too blunt, I'm sorry I spoke that way, or maybe I should have like phrased that differently, but I was like young and stupid, or I was just like had no brain mouth filter when I was speaking like that. And so I do have a tradition, well, I wouldn't say like ever, I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast, of naming stuffed animals after people from my favorite band. Sadly, almost all of those stuffed animals are now in storage. I have you saw Davy Cat, who's thankfully with me, and then I have cats named John, Paul, and George, and I have a stuffed tiger named Roger after Roger Daltrey of The Who, because obviously now I have two Rogers. Also, the other one is Roger Taylor of Duran Duran, but I wasn't a Duranie yet when I got that stuffed tiger. And I have my gigantic stuffed frog Simon, who came here with me, and he's in the garage now, unfortunately, because OMG, he takes up your whole bed, and how can you clean him? Yeah, that was never a problem when I lived on my own, but hopefully when I finally regain my independence and privacy and have my own home again, finally, after so many years stuck living with my family, not obviously that's a long story, but I will finally have Simon back with me. Hopefully they didn't secretly sell him or anything behind my back, and he's still in the garage just waiting for me. And Pete is just so cute. And I did show you guys the tote bag. This is really I guess raincoat material type of thing, and the next one in the bag is going to be the Scorpio, and I also named him before he came here. I'm sorry if this is awkward positioning, because I really just don't want to show the address label on the camera. And here it comes, Scorpio. I only have one Scorpio placement in my chart. I'm going to pronounce this a so-called correct way, Uranus. Like they put the stress on the first syllable of the one of the later, the seventh planet, I think. Yes, 7 out of 9. Because sorry, not sorry, I will always consider Pluto a planet. I have Scorpio and Uranus. So and that's one of the generational planets. It's not like, oh, it's going in and out of signs. It can be different for anyone. It's in the outer planets. The outer planets are in these signs for like really, really long times, 5, 10, sometimes even 15 years. So like everyone in my generation has, the same Scorpio placement. And one of the things about Scorpio and Uranus, I really do hope I'm pronouncing that properly, is that we're like, very into like, non-orthodox thinking, new ways of like just interpreting the world, and new age, like paranormal occult stuff, and just so cool. And I decided to name him Max because, like, hands down, there's absolutely no contest, my favorite male character of all time I have ever created. We've known one another since we were 11 years old, as my character Max Seward, and he is a Scorpio as well. And like, he's just like one of the quintessential Scorpios, just like Frank Sinatra was like the quintessential Sagittarian male. Max is so like, he's a cocky little bastard, and he takes pride in it. He kind of styles himself as like a young, like blonde Clark Gable. He says this himself several times. And he's just not like, this simpering like I know that's a bad word to call someone a pansy, but he's just the complete opposite of that. He's like he's really, I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast, he kind of like wants to be an alpha male, but deep down he's sweet and sensitive, just like Scorpios. But they have all this intensity they project. And the one time I was like taking some stupid advice to radically redo the first like 250 words of the first book in my spin-off series, my Atlantic City characters, which just focuses on Max's family. I really followed the wrong advice. I felt so gross and creepy and fake and weird and phony when I was like rewriting this, because Max came across this like simpering like lunatic, all these like emotions and goofy exaggerated descriptions of body language. I felt so much happier when I rewrote it to be who Max really is. And so I really gonna look forward to having these zodiac fluffs, and I will see you again when I film hopefully the third and technically the fourth and final segment of this What's Cheering Me Up Right Now video. So today is the 9th of July. I have not yet been able to get to my piercing studio, and I will be doing that in a future segment, but I do, lo and behold, have another Plushie Dreadfuls to do some unboxing. It took so long in coming here and I wasn't able to get to the studio yet, so I guess I'm just going to do like all the Plushie Dreadfuls unboxing in this one giant video, and I'm really looking forward to doing these. These are going to be Pisces and Migraine Rabbit. As I mentioned, Pisces came back into stock, and when that happens, if you have signed up to be notified, you'll get an email with a discount, and you can obviously put that in for the 15% off. And because I'm totally my maternal grandparents' granddaughter, I love bargains and saving money and stuff. I had to qualify for the free shipping, and so of course I added another rabbit to the order, and that was Migraine Rabbit. I really do wish they would send them in actual boxes instead of these like big like black bubble wrap envelopes. Sorry, I'm trying not to show the address on the camera, but particularly because they're coming from abroad. This is a small business based in Shanghai, China, so you would think they would at least go a little bit out for boxes, but this is just the business model they have chosen to do. I'm sorry if I'm just taking up space. I just really don't want to show the address label. There it goes. They're really hard to open. I guess that's a good thing. They want them as secure as possible when they're coming from abroad. Let's see which. Oh, this is Pisces, because as I mentioned in a couple of prior videos, I technically don't have any Pisces placements in my chart, or at least major planets or anything like that. I forget which sign rules each of my houses. It's been a really long time since I've had a look at my complete astrological chart, but because the year I was born, 1979, Neptune was directly influencing Sagittarius, and because Pisces is the ruler of Neptune, all of my Sagittarius placements in my chart have a much more Piscean feel, particularly my moon placement. My other Sagittarius signs are the Sun, Mercury, and Neptune. So obviously all those have a much more Piscean feel, and so I've long kind of called myself, a Piscean Sagittarian, because obviously officially on the face I'm Sagittarius and all those signs and planets and stuff, but really deep down I have a much more Piscean flavor to those, particularly the moon. I first had out a book from I'm sorry, I should show you guys the tote bag. I'm sorry if I ramble too much in completely unscripted videos. Isn't this really really cool. Like I found out Pisces was originally based on an ichthyocentaur, so like an aquatic centaur, and there's just like really something cool and fun, a neat, really neat mythological creature, and I decided to name her Yara after oh, she's so soft and so cute. Just look at this, just little thing on her head. It's a little bit loose, so obviously she might not be good for sleeping with and stuff, but just like to be a little bit careful with that. And they have the glyph for Pisces on the stomach. I decided to name her Yara. It's after a Brazilian spirit who, like, from mythology, she's like half woman and half fish. I wrote about her in my names blog a couple of years ago when I was doing names from mythology. Y was a wild card day because my main theme was Greek mythology, and obviously the letter Y doesn't occur in Greek, and so Yara is sometimes spelled Y-A-R-A or I-A-R-A, and sometimes you also find the spelling U-I-A-R-A. And she's a water nymph, a mermaid, or a siren in Brazilian mythology. Her form changes depending upon the story. Yara originated in Guarani and Tupi mythology. Yara is described as green-haired, brown-eyed, with copper or light brown skin, either a native Brazilian or a caboclo, someone of mixed race ancestry. She sits on a rock by the river, combing her hair or napping in the sunlight. When she feels the presence of a man, she begins to softly sing to him. Once under Yara's spell, a man will leave anything to join her in her underwater world forever. This was no trick, as Yara is very beautiful and will cater to all of her lover's needs for the rest of his life. Though Yara is immortal, her lovers eventually get old and die. The Yara legend was one of the more common explanations behind the disappearance of those who got lost in the jungle. Yara means water lady, derived from the old Tupi word for water, which is simply the letter Y. I don't know how that would be pronounced in the Tupi language, like I or Y, or I'm sorry, I really have no familiarity at all with the Tupi language. And Iara, which means lady, and that's spelled I with a little hat over it. I forget if that's the circumflex, that mostly found in French. So the I-A-R-A, and the name is very popular in Brazil, both as Yara and as Yara. And as I was mentioning before I got sidetracked, I had a book out from the library in 1994 when I was 14 about moon signs, but because this was kind of still technically pre-internet, it was really difficult to find out your moon sign because like the moon is constantly like really like frequently changing and cycling all throughout the astrological sign. So you either have to have like go to an astrologer in person back then, or like do a lot of complicated like astronomical calculations to find your moon sign. But it did describe the like characteristics of all the moon signs, and I really felt like Pisces really describes me to a T. So it was a huge shock when I found out like 3 years later in 97 I have the moon in Sagittarius. Like I was seriously that none of the like characteristics of a lunar Sagittarian described me at all. So when I found out about the Neptune directly influencing Sagittarius the year I was born, oh, that made so much more sense. Yeah, I technically on the face I do have the moon in Sagittarius, but like deep down I really feel much more like someone who has the moon in Pisces. And so obviously I got this cute little Pisces bunny fluff to represent all my like Sagittarian placements that have a much more Piscean feel. Oh, so she's just so soft. I'm lucky I technically have the 3 astrological signs. I like the Sagittarius, I'm the Pisces, and Ophiuchus. Like some people in sidereal astrology like count that as a 13th sign. So there's just like something really cool. Look at this little lantern she has. Isn't it just so fun and so cool? I absolutely love astrology, and like fee on those people who think it's just like vague generic sun sign crap in the newspaper or women's fashion magazines. It's like way more deeper than that when you actually get down to it and just like look beyond that. And here is going to be migraine rabbit. I named her Carenza, which means love in the Cornish language. I was thinking of like a Welsh name with like the meaning of snow, like E-I-R, maybe like Erwen, like which means white snow in Welsh, because I absolutely love Welsh names. So I was just thinking again, she really doesn't look like an Erwen or like any Welsh name, so I decided to get a Cornish name for her, which meaning love. And when it comes to Celtic names, I really don't think Cornish names get nearly as much love as they deserve. Most people are all about the Irish names and the Scottish names and like the Welsh names. I absolutely love Welsh names, but just Cornish names, not many people really know much about like Cornish anything. And also like Breton names don't get a lot of love for Celtic names, or Manx. Like who knows about any Manx names. I'm not saying this to be insulting, or it's just like a general, like, observation. People generally, when they think of Celtic names, it's mostly, like the Irish and the Scottish and the Welsh. Isn't she cute? Oh, she's so soft. And I'll read you guys the description, because I didn't decided to give her a name meaning love, because like when you suffer from migraines, or I have chronic tension headaches since my junior year of high school. I've had about 5 migraines in my life. They're absolutely horrible. I'm kind of living in dread of the next one coming, because I'm 7.5 years overdue for my next migraine. I would always have them about 4 to 5 years apart. The last migraine was in January of 2016, so I'm thinking, like, when is the next one going to strike? Is it going to be the mother of all migraines? Did I somehow outgrow them? Because you just never relax, and I have some really, really terrible tension headaches sometimes. Like, sometimes I've had one every day or every single week. And because look at her, she suffers from headaches just like I do, and she needs some extra love. And it just, when you see a representative of something you have, oh, this person, this bunny deserves love, and maybe I deserve more love than I thought, and I'm holding space for this part of myself, and it's maybe not so bad after all. And so you can see the little scar down the side of her head. This is from the website. Migraines suck. Not only do they hurt like hell, but they take you away from the normal business of life, and they rob you of time that you want to be spending with your loved one. Shakes fist at migraines. Migraine Rabbit features a broken heart to indicate the emotional pain caused by all that lost time. It's got red, tired eyes and a split down the middle of the skull. There are also scars on the arms to indicate the general physical despair caused by migraines. I don't know if you can, you can see the scars a little bit on the arms. But most important, there's a removable migraine brain octopus you can stick atop Migraine Rabbit's head. That little jerk. Look at its angry eyes. It knows what it's doing. I can totally relate to that feeling, like, your brain is kind of getting off on torturing you and giving you yet another headache, and like triggering you to have chronic headaches in the first place. And inside the migraine brain, a little pouch where you can store your headache relief stuff. One final detail. Embroidered on the bottom of the feet, symbols for a crowd and a shooting star, taken from alchemy. These represent the ominous and unpredictable arrival of terrible pain in the head. And see, you can just, and there's little teeth on the inside of the brain too, and this will be really good for, like, there's a little zipper pouch right here for putting in my naproxen, maybe mixing it up with some other medication, but I would like to, pursue it at some point, seeing if I can get, like, something much stronger for my headaches, because, people shouldn't have to suffer with headaches, and a lot of people, unfortunately, myself included, have always, like, internalized this attitude, oh, it's not really that bad, just, like, suck it up and get through it. You can just handle, like, with over the counter. And see, like, the little brain on top of Karenza's head. I'm sorry if it's a little bit, crooked, but you get the idea. This is so cool and so soft. I absolutely love the Plushie Dreadfuls. I'm so happy I discovered them through ads on Twitter a couple of months ago, and I've got a few more yet to arrive in the mail. Like 2 more are scheduled to be arriving tomorrow. They're Cerberus, the 3-headed bunny, and PCOS rabbit, which is a brand new arrival. I don't have PCOS, but I do have dysmenorrhea, which I have long suspected is endometriosis, and I will be getting Endo Bunny when she eventually releases, because I feel, it's really important to represent menstrual disorders. So many, like, women and girls around the world, like, just suffer from menstrual disorders of all sorts, and they had a recent summer sale, like, everything was like 15% off, plus a couple of buns were, like, discounted to 50% off. So I got the pain in the buns, like 4 bunny set, like, small rabbits representing, like, agony and, like, chronic pain, and they come with little, like, iron-on pins and stuff. And I also got Virgo bunny, because I have Virgo rising, as well as I have Virgo and Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. And one of the cases when you have a very strong rising sign that masks or almost completely mask your sun sign. Like, don't I seem more like a Virgo and a Pisces than a Sagittarius? I'm not like a fire sign or like a take charge in your face Sagittarius at all. And I'm trying to, like, totally slipping my mind at the other bunny I got, but it'll probably come to me eventually. Oh, a sleep paralysis rabbit. I don't really have sleep paralysis, but many people, like, report they got it just because, like, it helps them with nightmares and other sleep problems. So I will see you again when I start filming the next segment. Karenza and I say bye. Yet again, I forgot to mention something while I was filming the video. Pisces bunny has a little turtle shell on the back, so she's like a hybrid of all these different cool creatures. Like obviously the bunny and the fish for Pisces and for the turtle. And, like technically because Pisces was originally based on an ichthyo centaur, she's like a little bit of horse in there somewhere too. And I look at these like really cool ears with the like shiny fish scales on them. I'm going to eventually get Capricorn bunny, who is a hybrid of a goat, the bunny, and the fish, because Capricorn has like, shiny green like fish scales on the legs. I have Capricorn and Venus, which, is the reason I have like so much lifelong attraction to, like things of other eras, like, like old films and music and just history and stuff like that. So see you guys again in the next section. Today is the 12th of July. This package was held up unexpectedly for a few days in Georgia, and I've decided this is going to be the final segment of this video. I will be pushing off my new jewelry and obviously the future unboxings for the Plushie Dreadfuls, which are still currently in the mail on their way from China to a separate what's cheering me up right now video. And this is going to be really exciting. Oh, it's already partly opened already because there's, I guess, something just so big in the package. That's going to make it a lot easier for me because usually it's just so freaking tight and you have to just really just, get in there with the scissors. But now they did part of my work for me, but they are, very well, like wrapped up inside. They're obviously in the tote bags, as you've seen. The tote bags themselves are also in like little plastic bags with zippers. Oh, and it looks like PCOS bunny is right at the top. I'm sorry if I'm just taking up. There it goes. It's like really hard to open these. You can't really. I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast. Can't really appreciate how difficult it can be to open these things unless you've actually, like dealt with opening them in person. Now this, as I mentioned, is going to be PCOS bunny. I personally do not have PCOS myself, but I do have quite bad dysmenorrhea, which I've suspected for many years might be endometriosis. So obviously menstrual disorders are very near and dear to my heart, and I want to support them in any way I can. And the company does donate a portion of their proceeds to, organizations and individuals dealing with these things. Just, so many millions of women and girls all around the world suffering with menstrual disorders, and we should not have to, suffer in silence. We should be represented for what we're going through, and there should be, more money going to, research and things to just, help heal these things, so like future generations of women and girls don't have to deal with this any longer. And this also comes with a cool carrot water bottle. The future endometriosis bunny, whom I mentioned several times I am going to get, she also comes with a carrot water bottle, and you can also put hot water in it to like put on your like, crampy abdomen and stuff like that. And this is like so really cute. Teal is one of my absolute favorite colors. It's like tied, one of several colors which are tied for number 3, along with turquoise and like, I guess, like jewel tones of green. Oh, she's so soft, and the ears are like fluffier than usual because many women and girls who have PCOS, they do have a bit of a hirsutism, I believe is the term for it, like, just like more of a like a bearded lady thing, because there's a little bit more testosterone in their system than most women. And the little swollen feet are because many individuals with PCOS, these women do unfortunately suffer with obesity, and it's a lot more difficult to lose weight than it is for other women. And the ears are a little bit shorter than the other bunnies, but that's not a big deal at all. Just the little freckles represent acne. Many women and girls with PCOS do, get acne. This is just such a cute, fun, like representation when I'm having my, like when my uterus is trying to kill me once a month with my dysmenorrhea. It'll be really good to hug this little buddy, even though I personally don't have PCOS, and it'll be even better when endometriosis rapid releases. And I did forget to show you guys in the previous videos, like I guess they just like fell out of the bag, or I forgot about them at the time. All the zodiac fluffs come with stickers. This one is for Taurus, whom I named Pete after Pete Townsend of The Who. And I did forget to mention in that segment, but I did put it on the screen. One of the reasons I named him after Pete is because Pete is a Taurus himself. He was born on the 19th of May, 1945, and he even mentions it in the song Predictable on his last studio solo album, Psychoderelict, from 1992. Your love is so predictable, you take this Taurus boy by the horn. So I guess he's like really proud of being a Taurus. And this is for Sagittarius, the centaur, and this is for Pisces, whom I named Yara. She's one of my favorites. She's just so, snuggly, and the turtle shell on her back is very grounding when I hug her. And this is for Scorpio, whom you see behind me. I named him Max. And now we're going to get to Cerberus, who, the 3-headed dog from mythology, but this is obviously a three-headed little bunny, and he's really big. That's obviously the three heads, so that's what must have like split the bag a little bit. This is gonna be like really so fun and cool. He's gonna guard all my other fluffs, and I just love how they put such care into the like. Yeah, oh god, it got stuck. The zipper thing fell off. It's not really a big deal. Here, the bag is really big. I love this material. Unfortunately, they're discontinuing this particular type of like vinyl raincoatish material for the bags, which is like really a shame. You know, I really like it. It's waterproof, and some of the. I'm sorry if this is like looking unprofessional and amateurish, but you know, the small space. So this is the Cerberus bag. Isn't it really cool? It's the same colors as my Sagittarius bag, which is my current whole bag. I just love the red and the black. This is just like so fun and awesome. There's no stickers in here. It's not a Zodiac bag. Oh, just look at this. It's just such a cool shape. Just look at this. This is so fun. And it's got the little bunnies on the ends have the little ears. See the ears here? Then the one in the middle has the really big ears. Oh, this is just so freaking cool. I'm so happy I got it. And look at the, you know, the three little faces just like that. This is just so freaking cool. This is going to be probably going to become one of my favorites. And of course, it's just as, you know, soft as usual, guarding my fluffs. Maybe I can even hold this up in some of my future Dantean videos, because it's just this three-headed rabbit. Who wouldn't love that? And you know, loving mythology and like medical curiosities and just all sorts of fun macabre stuff like that. So I'm signing off for the last time on this What's Cheering Me Up Right Now video, and I will be starting a future third What's Cheering Me Up Right Now video very soon. Thank you for watching all to the entirely the end. I know this was a much longer video than I anticipated, so I do really appreciate if you did watch all the way through to the end. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and particularly leaving a comment. I love having conversations with you guys. Thanks for watching again. See you soon. Bye. Sorry, I forgot one more quick addendum. I'm going to be naming PCOS Rabbit Peppermint, because obviously like a pepperminty-ish color, and it's just, you know, peppermint is something that really helps to calm down cramps and nausea and upset stomachs when your uterus is trying to kill you when you're having dysmenorrhea. So bye for now, for real this time. Thank you for watching. Bye.